Hey everybody, my name is Jordan and this presentation is on chapter 9 of Research Methods in Physical Activity, titled Qualitative Research. I will be presenting the first half of the chapter and Tyler will be presenting the second half. As a general introduction, I'll be providing an overview of what it means for the research to be considered qualitative. Qualitative research is very common among many areas of kinesiology since like the 1980s. It has been used in anthropology, psychology, and sociology for many years as well. There are many different names for qualitative research, such as ethnographic, naturalistic, interpretive, grounded theory, phenomenological, and participant observational. Some might say that the name qualitative research might be limiting, but it's the name that's most commonly used in the world of kinesiology. The qualitative research that's discussed in this chapter is done in everyday settings such as schools and gyms. Qualitative research adds to the components of observation and interpretation for research. Here's a general outline of presentation. For this chapter's presentation, we will be going over the procedures that can be involved in conducting qualitative research and the data analysis that is necessary for writing the report. Procedures involve defining the problem, formulating the question, determining theoretical framework, collecting the data, entering the setting and methods of collecting data. Data analysis consists of data reduction, sorting, analyzing, and categorizing data, interpreting that data, constructing the theory behind the research, establishing trustworthiness and proper ethics, and finally writing the report. The objectives for this chapter include learning the differences and similarities between qualitative and quantitative research, understanding the preparation necessary to conduct qualitative research, and understand the procedures and data analysis that are involved in it. I will start by giving an example of a qualitative research. Photo Voice is a qualitative design that provides participants with cameras to take pictures of what they feel like is meaningful to them. As you can see in this picture, thoughts plus pictures equal a strong voice. An example of a photo voice that I came across while reviewing the literature on my topic was a study designed to have participants take pictures of what helps them deal with stress in their daily lives. The participants would take pictures, then write about what the pictures meant to them. Then the participants would discuss their photos in focus groups that were observed and recorded by the researchers. From this, themes are established across participants and conclusions can be made. We will discuss some of the procedures collecting data later in the presentation. Although it may seem that qualitative research lacks the element of quantifying data, that's not necessarily the case. Many statistics can be derived from qualitative research. Although it's interpretive, qualitative research offers tried and true procedures to obtain meaningful and trustworthy data. The style of research allows for participants to work together to come up with meaningful conclusions on any given topic. Just like any qualitative research, we must first define the problem. It's important that the reader connects with the premise behind the research. It is also extremely important to formulate a research question in a way that the reader gets the purpose of your study. It's become more common in recent years to pose a research question instead of stating a hypothesis when it comes to qualitative studies. And although things may change throughout the study, the research question typically stays the same. The research question states the purpose of the research, and the process of the study determines whether the purpose has been fulfilled or not. Just like quantitative research, qualitative research uses literature to back up the purpose and significance. Determining the theoretical framework that should be used for any particular study involves a great deal of research and collaboration from the researchers. Theoretical frameworks are very complex, and it's important for the researchers to have extremely established understanding of the framework. In this case, they can conduct the research more effectively. The researcher must be able to explain the framework and the process of conducting it in a way that the reader fully understands the context. The book recommends a couple texts here, Maxwell and Rossman and Rallis. If students are learning new framework to be used on the research. Like we discussed in the previous slide, the researcher must be prepared. A way to prepare for a study is to conduct a pilot study. This allows for the researcher to practice and gain the necessary skills to conduct the research effectively. The book suggests that if you're a student that is doing qualitative research, to pick an advisor that has experience in the field. Fieldwork is suggested to gain experience, but with experience comes judgment, assumptions, and bias. It is up to the researcher to recognize that this could be a problem and to be 100% sure that they do not let this affect their approach. When it comes to selecting participants for a qualitative study, it is very much the same as selecting participants for a case study. Participants are selected based on their characteristics. Sampling is purposeful in qualitative research, so the researchers choose participants that they think they can learn the most from. Purposeful sampling allows researchers to study specific population. The researchers must also determine how the data will be collected, where the study will take place, and whether the focus is on the setting, the individuals, or both. A limitation to purposeful sampling is that people in the same area or with certain inclusion criteria are likely to share certain characteristics. An example of selecting participants for a qualitative study is the study that was discussed previously in this presentation. The study selected students from one particular geographic location that were between ages 18 and 25 and had a diagnosis of ASD. This is an obvious limitation to the study, but the researchers must select participants that get them answers. If we're researching stress in young adults transitioning to adulthood with ASD, it's necessary for the participants to have a diagnosis, otherwise the information would be useless. Now that we have discussed the participant selection process, we will talk about entering the setting. In order to conduct a qualitative research, researchers must have access to the field setting and they must be able to observe the participants and conduct interviews. It's important for the researcher to be present during the study. Qualitative researchers often spend weeks, or even months with their participants collecting data. The book is very persistent on this topic because it's such an important component to qualitative research. Another important attribute is creating a setting for the participants that feels natural for them. The book says rapport is everything. Participants need to trust the researcher for the information to be legitimate. Another important note is that informed consent is necessary. Although participants consent to being evaluated, it's most important for them to feel comfortable with the evaluator. In qualitative research and quantitative research alike, the information about the participants must be kept confidential. Often participants are given participant IDs so that their name is not connected to the information. Participants must also understand the purpose and importance of the study to become fully invested in their participant role. This is the job of the researcher. Researchers should make sure that participants feel important and avoid making them feel like they're being watched or evaluated. This allows for the best information to be obtained. Now, this brings us to our first activity, coming up with an exemplary model of an observation for a qualitative study. I would like everyone to take the time to write down the process of how you would prepare yourself to conduct a qualitative study, how you would choose your setting and participants, and how you would conduct yourself on site based on the content discussed in this presentation.